Let me recap the first episode of Ted Lasso, which I watched almost a week ago now. So I might fumble around a little bit. It's only a half an hour, so I can do my best. Do you need to put me on the clock, or am I just going to go?
You just go for it, and maybe I'll give you like a wave when 30 seconds is up. And if you want to continue on, I'm not going to cut you off.
Okay, cool. You count me down then.
All right, you're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Go.
There's this British football club that seems to have fallen on hard times. Their family organization is kind of crumbling, and so they bring in this ringer, this American coach, Ted Lasso, who comes in and he is just Captain Enthusiasm. He just wants to do the best for this team, but they don't respect him because he's American. He doesn't really appreciate their customs. And so he's kind of thrown his whole life away to come in and be involved in the rebuilding of this British football organization. But he's also done it apparently to escape the sadness of his own life. At the end of the episode, I think I'm out of time. At the end of the episode, he has a phone call with his daughter. I think it's a kid. I think it's his daughter. And then his either wife, who he's separated from, or his ex-wife. And it is chilling. Can we start there? Because that's where I happen to be. I was fully ready to be like kind of out on this show. I thought it was okay leading up to this. I was like, this is pretty funny. I'd maybe watch a second one. But when this scene happens at the end where he has just been Captain Positive for the whole, and he's Jason Sudeikis, and so you just like, you've kind of heard him do this like goofy voice before, and he's got this little mustache, and he's an underdog, and so you're rooting for him anyway, although you do find his enthusiasm to be a lot, and you probably figure if I knew this guy in real life, I'd find him to be a lot too. And then in this last scene, he's in the house where he's staying, and they've kind of set him up this really nice home, and he's on the phone with his kid, and you only hear his side of the conversation. And this is when Jason Sudeikis, who I think I complimented on a recent podcast as an underrated great actor, this is when his performing really sings, because it's hard. Yeah. It's hard to do telephone acting, and it's just him, and he's talking to that kid, and it's so sweet. And the kid says, presumably the kid says, "I love you," because he says, "I love you too. Can you put your mom on?" And he starts talking to the mother of his child. Whether or not they're still married, we don't know, but they're definitely separated, and his tone changes, and he's
I think it's separated because he's like talking about how like, no, I said I'd give you some space.
That's right. He says, you guys got to come out here and see this place. And then there's a pause, and he's like, no, I know you need your space. And then he says, "I love you." And there's a pause, and he goes, "It's okay. You don't have to say it back." And I cried in this moment.
Yeah.
I genuinely like teared up. And that was when the show was won over for me. I thought it was a beautiful scene.
It is such an unexpected, sad part, because you do see in the early part of the show, it might be the first thing he sees is he's looking at his phone, and you see a kid and a mother.
Right.
And he kind of like smiles and like puts it away, and then something else happens. But he and like there's viral videos of him like dancing with the Wichita State football team, who ends up winning the championship that year. And he came from like a Division II team and worked his way up, and like that team apparently loved him. So the story is that this girl, this manager lady, actually wanted to bring that sort of enthusiasm to the football team, which you don't know, or what you learn about 3/4 of the way into the show is that she actually is doing this to try to sink the team in spite of her ex-husband, who was originally the rightful owner.
That's right. And so she's kind of a cliche. She's a bit of frankly, a Jan Levinson. She's a bit of like a dragon lady, scary British manager, and she's nice to Ted, but behind his back she's quite vicious, and she's got this like meek manservant who, like, I don't know if eventually he's going to flip out at her, or if they're just going to run the whole Veep dynamic for the whole series. But I don't care about her so much. I really just want to see more of Ted. He's got this sweet like Jack McBrayer type Southern accent, which is kind of an interesting choice. Is this based on something? I struggled to get to the bottom of this. Like, it says in the credits, based on pre-existing characters from NBC Sports. So it was like a film or something in 2013?
So, yeah, I don't think it was a film. I think it was like a little short that they did, possibly for like, I want to even say for the ESPYs, but it couldn't have been the ESPYs because it's NBC Sports. But yeah, the idea was like, it was a little skit where he's like, I'm going to coach a football team. They're telling me I'm in England, and like then he's kind of trying to navigate like, oh, this isn't the type of football that I thought it was, and like we're It was short, and I'm sure you could find it online.
But it was Sudeikis.
Oh, it was Sudeikis, yeah.
Yeah.
He like created the character for sure.
What about the Juno Temple of it all? Like, she's the hot wife of one of the players, and she's not really respected. But then, like, he either strikes up a friendship with her, or she's going to be a love interest for him. But I didn't know what to think of that. I thought it was kind of sweet.
It's kind of TBD, and I watched the second episode because I like the first episode so much. Like I like you and appreciated the kind of nuance, and although you know where it's going, like you can see from a mile away that the team's going to like gain his respect and admiration.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a couple villains, and there might be like a villain on the team. I'm not sure. Who knows? But the idea being that like he's going to kind of get success and maybe a little bit more independence, and he might stick up for himself. But I don't know. I love the show. It kind of like, it's one of those shows that makes you want to like be like the person you're watching. You're like, oh my God, just a ray of positivity.
You're
that
right.
like communicates in such a kind way. It's just such a like nice kind of message.
Chris Traeger is like that. You hear him talking, you're like, man, people would like me more if I was just like that. Like, I think I would like me more if I was like that.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. There's such a like purity to it. It's weird because you don't usually get a kind of you're right, kind of like a Jack McBrayer style, but like it's a little more like he understands when people are being mean to him.
Oh yeah, no, he's a full character. He's not a caricature.
Right. Yeah, he's not like a pushover either.
No, and he's not dumb.
Right, yeah, that's another important part of it.
Although
it is a ridiculous idea in the first place, but yeah. But I'm on board with it.
My favorite line is when he's in the press conference and the press is kind of like giving him the gears a little bit. Like, you're from the States, do you even know what you're doing over here? And somebody says, can you name 2 football players? And he goes, well, you got Ronaldo, you got the fellow who bends it like himself. That's hilarious.
Yeah. I kept being caught off guard anytime people would swear because it seemed like such a wholesome show.
Yeah, that's true.
But then you're like also getting like the Kenny Powers style reactions where people are calling him like, and like people swear for sport, especially in England.
Marcus Mumford did all the music for this show, which once you realize that, it's very evident.
Right. Well, like, off the theme song, I could tell that. But
honestly, like, where is that guy? Where's that band been? They had such a moment 8 years ago.
I don't know. I mean, Jen has loved all their albums since.
Yeah, so has Becky, I think. Frankly, I like Mumford and Sons. Kind of like I like Coldplay. Like, they have lots of songs that people like to rag on, but they're a good band. Good
and offensive songs that you can kind of like,
Did you ever see Mumford and Sons when you were going to all those musical festivals?
Yeah,
music festivals, not musical festivals. You didn't see like the touring production of Cats or anything.
I never saw a touring musical. I don't think I did. But I saw Mumford and Sons in 2013 in Montreal, Oshiaga.
Yeah.
And I peed no less than 40 times through that show. It was before I realized I was diabetic. Oh. It made so much more sense afterwards.
Is that a symptom?
Oh yeah, frequent urination. It's like how you like dispel, I guess maybe like get rid of sugar is through urine.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, it's very. So that was. So even when my sugar's high now, I'll have to urinate more often.
All right, I take it you give this show your S. I definitely do, and if I didn't before, it's that heartbreaking scene in the end. Now I gotta see what happens next.
I give it 10 urine slanies out of 10.
That's your best review yet.
That's the most urine we've talked about. Yeah, I 100% do. I think it's got a lot of heart. I think it's a great show. I obviously am a big cheerer of Jason Sudeikis. Also, I love the assistant coach. But like he played that perfectly. It wasn't like he's not like, his little suck up sidekick. He's like, they kind of work in tandem with they have a respect for each other. But I don't know. I just loved watching that dynamic.
And I've seen that guy in other things before, in little bit parts on comedies.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
He's almost like a Beck Bennett with a big beard.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good pull. Yeah. All right, definitely check out Ted Lasso. It's on Apple TV Plus. You can watch the first couple episodes for